Hi, Christine Armstrong here today with Exercise Ruckus, and today I'm going to demonstrate a pigeon pose that is modified to help maintain knee positioning and knee integrity and safety for the knees ligaments, but also to get a good stretch through the hips and the mid and upper back. So today you're going to start on your right hip. And you're gonna sit on that hip, put all your weight on it, extend your arm out, and then bring the right knee forward so that it's pointing in the same direction as the front of your mat. And then I let my bottom ankle rest on the mat. I'm at a 90-degree angle for my knee bend and my hip. Now some people's hips can't tolerate this position very much, and you see my back leg is not fully extended right now. Some ways to help modify the hip positioning is to use a block or a folded blanket and adjust it so that the knee can come forward and the foot can extend fully. The object is to allow the knee to drop towards the floor. You want to keep a 90-degree angle as you're going. So that's a suggestion to help modify. Now once you get into this position, you want to begin to lengthen out the trunk, lengthen out your head, lengthen out your neck, and work your back leg back, but don't worry about turning it all the way under or having it completely straight. You want to lift through the lower abdomen and lift that up towards the spine and then back towards the ribs, so lifting up and back. And as you lift your chest, you want to spread your collarbones as wide as you can. You're going to push more strongly through the outside arm. As you lower down, you're going to lift your chest forward, not your head, don't strain your neck, but lengthen from your belly button up through your sternum, up through your throat. Keep looking gently forward, and then allow yourself to fall wherever you can on your pose. Everybody's a little different with their mobility. Some people, this is plenty. Others can lay all the way flat on the ground. I, however, have tight hips, so my mobility is a little bit limited. Again, you can come back using your props to rest your head. You want to allow your head to relax. So I can set my brick up. Excuse me. Sunny here, yay, and I can rest my forehead. So now I can begin to work on rotating my top ribs to lengthen them out, and my bottom ribs to lengthen them out, and then rotate the top rib, your left rib, down towards the floor. Lift the abdomen up, lengthen it out, and then slowly relax your head to your supported surface. Now if you don't have a block, you can use a blanket rolled up. You can also use your fists. You can double stack them to let your head rest. And as you improve and as your ability to rotate and lay farther down, you know, each pose should be about 3 to 5 breaths, and then maybe lengthen and deepen a little bit more. And as your body relaxes, as you let things go, you can slowly release and go farther down and then farther down. So I went from double fist, paper over the rock, paper on paper, remember that? And then forehead all the way down. Again, take time to ease into that position. Don't just try to jam yourself in there. Take a few deep breaths as you hold that pose. So now you can wiggle your back leg back a little farther as you come out of that, easy and slow. Work the back leg back. And then now we're going to take the right arm and I'm going to bring it towards my right foot. I'm going to take my elbow towards my foot. And what happens is now I'm rotating the other way. Okay, so now I'm going to lift my ribs up. So think of your warrior poses where we have to, in triangle, where we have to lift the ribs up. So as you're doing that, you're going to bring your right elbow forward as close to your foot as you can. Now again, I'm tight, so I don't get very far, but I've seen people be able to get their elbow all the way to their foot and beyond. So we reach across, and again, you've got to lift the ribs, lengthen the ribs out, let your head just kind of fall where it wants to, let the back leg fall where it wants to, and then slowly take your top hand, press down. So I'm pushing down with my top fist. I'm pushing down, turning my top ribs up, lengthening my hip, pressing down. My back leg is just kind of hanging out. My front leg, I'm gently pressing my outer ankle into the ground. And then I relax and let your head fall. Take some breaths here. Big into the top. And then as you begin your second breath, inhale into the bottom rib. And then inhale into both ribs equally, lengthening the spine out as you go. And then slowly release that, placing your hands on the floor. Press yourself slowly up to a forward position, bringing your head and chest forward, revolving the hips around again. So now we're going back, the rotation is going the other way. The ribs are again, outside ribs are dropping down towards the left chest to right knee, okay? And then depending on what your shoulder mobility is, some people can keep this supported hand close, and other people are tighter, and they maybe have to reach way out here. And so you take your left hand and you hook it, hook the thumb right into the armpit, right? But I keep my shoulder back, elevate your ribs, lengthen your spine, lengthen. So you inhale, get really, really long, and then begin to rotate. And you start to take the the left elbow towards the right knee. And now I can push on that right knee with my elbow to turn. And I can use the opposite support arm, my blanket in the way, to help me turn. Lengthen your spine. Relax your back buttock. And now begin to slowly take some large inhalations and exhalations. And breathe, determine which rib is easier to blow or inhale into. So you might notice that one side is easier than the other. For me, it's my right side. So now I want to breathe into the left. Breathe into that opposite side, and you'll feel some changes happen. I can still gently push with the outer hand or push into my knee, but don't overdo, especially first time through. Go slow and steady. And then slowly release, coming back up. And don't try to stand up right away. This hip has been really stretched out. It's kind of lazy. So you want to bring your feet forward and sit in Dandasana for just a moment, extending your legs, extending the inner heel, sitting tall, lift your chest. And then we switch to the other side. So again, we'll repeat. So now left leg is forward. The knee is at a right angle with the hip, kind of a 90-90. The back leg is bent as well. I sometimes will call this almost a swastika position. And that's a terrible sign, but you understand the motion of the legs because it does a similar pattern. And so then we're going to start working over. Now this hip for me is tighter. This is actually my left. I'm mirroring you, but it is your left hip should be down. And so we start to extend the back leg as much as we can. Again, extending through the outer ankle heel and then the inner ankle heel, extending those away. And then lengthen the spine. So you want to lift the head, lift the chest, gently press through the ground, expand your collarbones, and then inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, bring the bottom ribs forward more. And again, keeping the head gently lifted, don't overdo, just look slightly forward. Press the bottom heel into the floor and lower your chest down. One other problem that can arise for some people, depending on their hips, is they might have a little pinch sensation here. And some ways to resolve that, again, we use our blanket. And you can place the blanket, you kind of want to make it a little bit of a roll. And I can push that into my hip. I use my other hand, I push it into my hip as close to the connection as I can. So right where that crease is, I try to get as close to that crease as possible. And then I can lift my abdomen and I can lay over my leg, and I'm going to be much less likely to have that pinchy sensation. Now if you do have that pinchy sensation still, don't bend so far forward. Try not to let that happen. That's not a good thing. We don't want our bones bumping together there. So now we extend the arms forward, we lower our head. Again, you can use a support, you can use a block. I'm quite tight on this hip today. Apparently it's been overworked. So I can use a block, I can rest my head, take a few breaths. And then, or you can use stacked fists. And again, begin to breathe into the rib that's easy. And then as you go, begin to try to breathe into the opposite rib where it's kind of hard. Lengthening the spine. Let your head and neck relax gently, and everything should just kind of ease into the pose. And we're all in different places. And then you can also try migrating. Excuse me, I'm going to take this towel off. You can try migrating again towards the foot, so we can start moving the ribs. My ribs come more in line with my thigh bone as I can come over more to deepen that pose. So you can move closer towards your shin gently. Don't force this. Ease into it. It's much safer to ease into it. And you can gently press the heel down into the floor and lift your chest. Lengthen it out and then fall. Wherever is comfortable again for you. Few breaths here, 3 to 5. And then now you're going to turn towards your front foot that's extended, and you turn your ribs that direction. Remember, now we're going the opposite way. And so I reach as far as I can with my top hand. So I'm trying to pull my ribs more in line with my hips, and I can start working my back leg under a little bit more, but I'm not too concerned about that. So again, we lift and lengthen through the bottom ribs as you turn your head and look towards your foot, and then you lean onto that elbow. So now my elbow has to work, and I make that rock and paper. Press into the ground with the top hand and push into the ground with the bottom hand. Gently, not 100%, give it about 20%. 20% effort, and let your head fall wherever it wants. Again, 3 to 5 breaths, working on breathing towards both ribs equally. And then as you come out of it, you're going to slowly use your hands to unwind. Press through your palms. We want to go back to that king pigeon pose, and we spread the collarbones. And don't let your back buttock grip. Release the back buttock. It wants to take over, don't let it. It's trying to help protect the opposite hip. And then, oh, sorry, you need to move a little bit. So now as I go back, I'm gonna reach, my left arm is extended out. And again, this is variable depending on your rotation. And so I extend my left arm out, I support my weight on it, and I hook my right thumb up into my armpit and kind of push that armpit, don't push it back, but just guide it. Move the shoulder blade behind you instead. And then let your body rotate and let your head just fall wherever it wants to go. And you can make minor adjustments Lengthen each side of your ribs. Let your body just relax and breathe into it. Don't overdo it. Just gently let your body go. And then slowly release. Bring your legs forward, sitting in Dandasana. Extend through the inner heel, lengthening out. Lifting your head, lifting your chest. I hope you enjoyed that video and that it's helpful for you. Please take the time to go at your own pace. Maybe do one piece of it and practice that piece, and then move to the next piece. The more we practice, the better we become at it, the better we help our bodies realign itself, and that's its main goal, is to try to keep everything in alignment. So thank you for joining me on this video. Namaste.